Hi everyone, Linda here from Gun Lane Jewellery. Today we're going to be making a pendant. This is the pendant that we'll be making. A couple of different ones to show you here. This one's been patinaed, and these two are in the coated silver parawire. So I'm not going to say that it's going to turn out exactly like this because each one turns out differently. But if you'd like to learn how to make them, then just stay with me. Okay, so to make this pendant, what we're going to need is some 18 gauge wire. I'm using copper. I'm just going to pull off, I'll cut it and then show you how long it is. Okay, I didn't bring my tape measure. I'm going to say it's about 2 feet long. I can try and get that on a 1.5 feet maybe. Okay, you're also going to need something round. This pendant turns out roughly around about 1 inch in diameter, so I'm going to use the end of my beadsmith mandrel here to wire wrap it. So we're going to leave a tail that's about that long, and we're just going to wrap that around 3 times. If I can do this under my camera. I have to be off camera to do this, sorry guys, but I'm just wrapping it around the mandrel 3 times. Oh. Okay, so that's what I've got there, and you probably won't need the 18 inches. I've got quite a long tail there. Okay, so we've got that on there, and then I'm going to grab my flat nose pliers. You could use chain nose pliers if you don't have flat nose pliers. Actually, I want that tail to be a bit longer. There we go. And I'm just going to bend that up, straight up like that. Okay, now we can take it off the mandrel and just holding it in your fingers like that. Now I'm going to grab my flat nose pliers again. And just come in there and hold that as best you can. And just wire wrap that. Oop, I didn't have hold of all of those then. Still haven't got it. There we go. Hopefully. There. And just wrap that around a couple of times, pulling it in tight. Doesn't want to cooperate today. Okay, just around like that. I'm going to take my cutters and cut that tail off. See, there's quite a long tail there, so you can cut a little bit less of your 18 gauge. And I'm just going to push that down. Straighten those up. Okay. Okay, got those nice and straight now. Okay, so this is going to be our bail at the top here. All right, now I'm going to grab some 20 gauge wire, and I've annealed some of my wire just to make it easier to wrap. You don't have to anneal it if you don't want to. Sorry, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, sorry about that. There was someone at my front door. Okay, so I've got my wire annealed just to make it easy. You don't have to, you can just use your 20 gauge wire as it comes off the spool. I'm just going to get those in as neat as I can. You won't be able to get them in perfectly, I don't think. And I'm just going to wire wrap just around that. I've got it around once. This can be a little bit harder because you've got to thread it through. Well, it's harder on camera anyway. And I'm just going to make a couple of wraps here. Just like that. Grabbing a pair of pliers, just pulling those up nice and neat next to each other. Now we can cut off that little tail there. And just smush it down. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to be covered up anyway. Okay, that's the start of it. So now you can do this either with your hands, especially if you've got a annealed wire, because it's very easy to maneuver. I'll just show you one with my hands. So I'm just making little loops. Oops, catching on my light there. So get one like that with your fingers, or you can use your round nose pliers. And just maneuver that. Again, it's catching on everything here. Not making this look very easy, but it's a lot harder on camera when you've got things that you can't maneuver your wire around. Okay, I'm going to give up on the pliers because I can't do it with my camera and light in the way. But anyway, you would just use your pliers to maneuver your loops. So I've got two there. Now I'm going to come down around the front of my bail. And wrap that around. It was just a little bit of the oxidization from annealing coming off then. So I've gone around that twice. I'm back up the top. And I'm just making loops as I go around. Go back the other way. So you just do whatever you like along here, just making little loops as you go. And now I'm going to wrap that onto the frame. Push those back down. You can maneuver them any way you want. just like that. Loop again. Come back around the other way. Make them as big as you want. Another bit of annealing coming off there. As big or as small as you like. Just do a couple. Make sure you always attach it to the frame after a couple. Pulling it nice and tight. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on like that now until I come back up to here, and then we'll start decorating. And for decorating, I've got some 24 gauge head pins. So how many of those have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 of those. And also have some knotted head pins as well. 7, no, I've got 8 of the, no, sorry, 9. They've fallen out of the dish I had them in. 9 of the head pins, and I've got 4 so far of the knotted head pin. We'll see if we need any more of those. I've also got some little copper rondelles here, some copper daisy spacers, and some little faceted carnelian round beads, and I think they're a 3mm if I remember rightly. Okay, so I'll finish this off and we'll come back and we'll start doing the decorating. All right, I'll see you soon. Okay, I'm back. So I've got back up to the top there where we started. So I'm just going to grab my I've got them here, my bent nose pliers, and I'm just going to grab that tail, holding on to the wire here on the frame, and I'm just going to loop it back through. Tuck that in. So it doesn't catch on anything. It's nice and smooth. Now you could leave it like that. I like mine a little bit fuller. So I would go back through, and I'll do that now with my, I'm going to use a different gauge of wire, 24 gauge. This one hasn't been annealed, so I'm just going to pull some off my reel. Grab my cutters, give that a cut, straighten it out a little bit. Okay, I'm just attaching this to the frame. As I said, it doesn't have to be messy, tidy. It can be messy because it's freeform. Okay, if I can see that little tail there. I'm just going to tuck that in somewhere. go, that's all tucked in. Where's my wire coming from there? Excuse me. Okay, now you can just start looping again. The 24 gauge is very easy to work with, so you shouldn't have any problem. You don't need to anneal it. Okay, now you can do whatever you like here. I think I want to wind around a little bit. I want it to look wild and bushy and freeform and just chaotic. Just filling it in where you think it needs to be filled in a little bit, bulk it up a little bit. You could go back with another 20 gauge if you wanted to. If you wanted it to be even more bulky, totally up to you. I like the look of 2 different gauges together. So I'm just making this up as I go along, no plan in mind, just seeing where I want it to be filled in, where I want it to, you know, look the way I want it to look. So there's no rhyme or reason, just you can maneuver them wherever you want. I want that one up a little bit more. So just going around like that, getting what you like, what pleases you. I'm not happy with that bend. Okay, I'm going to straighten that out and do that one again. That's where you always need to have your straighteners on hand. Even if you don't think you're going to need them, you usually do. Okay, make that one a little loop. So I'm just going to keep going around now, finish that off. I've got a fair bit of wire left here, so I might even go around. You don't have to go all the way around. I might just bulk it up a little bit more on one side. I'll just see what I think when I get there. So I'll come back when I'm done with that. Okay, so I'm back. So I finished my wire off just wrapped it around a couple of times and tucked the tail in. So you all know how to do that. So it was pointless me showing you that. Now what you can do, you don't have to do this because it's quite firm as it is, but I just like to give it a little bit of a pounding. And I'm using the softest part, which is the rubber part of your hammer. This is a bit firmer, so I want to use a softer part. And I'm just going to hammer that gently, basically to work harden it. Mostly because it's got the 24 gauge wire and then a annealed wire, which is softer. So I just want to firm it up a little bit. It's not going to flatten it or anything like that. It's just work hardening it. Do it on both sides. Okay, that should be enough. That's much firmer now. You can feel it yourself when you do it. Okay, just move those out of the way. All right, bringing our beads and our head pins and knotted head pins, bald head pins and knotted head pins, I should have said. So you can just choose whatever you like. I'm going to start off with a rondelle and a bald head pin. Just pop that through and just pick a place in your work. It doesn't matter, anywhere you'd like to start. And I'm just going to thread that rondelle through like that, so the wire's just coming out of the back. And I'm just going to come up and over, securing it to the whole frame. And then I'm just going to try and get in underneath. It can be a little bit hard. Just fiddle around with it till you get your head pin wire underneath the rondelle. And that just supports it and makes it a little bit firmer. Okay, and then you can just wrap that back around. Grab a pair of pliers to give you a hand if you need them. Pull that up nice and tight. Grab your cutters. Nip that off. Tuck it in. Like that. I'm going to do these in groups of threes. I like things in odd numbers. It's more attractive to the eye if you have odd numbers of things grouped together. So just pop that where you'd like it to sit. And once this is all, excuse me, patinaed, it's going to look totally different. Okay, now I'm going to pop on a daisy spacer, and for that, because this has got quite a big hole in the middle, I'm going to use a head pin, because the not a head pin, because the normal bald head pin would just go straight through it, where that sits in the middle of it nicely. So just find a space again. Where do I want to put this one? Just got to find somewhere. Wish I could get this up close to my face. Somewhere where you can pop it through. And that looks nice. Looks quite nice there. And I'm just going to wire wrap that one on. And again, coming up and around, you know, you can go around both of these, or you can just go around the daisy spacer, if you like. I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to go around both. Again, just supporting them a bit more and taking that wire over. Trimming that off. And popping it out of the way there, the end of it. Nice and securely, that's 2 on. Now I'll go a head pin and a carnelian. I'm gonna have to find a space to pop that in, and I can go down through there, I think. what also looks really nice with these is if you have a rondelle bead, your gemstone bead. Okay, I've got that there. I'm just going to bring that up somewhere over here. And that one seems supported well enough, so I don't need to wrap around that bead. So I'm just going to wrap it onto the work itself. And all this extra wire is going to look so nice when it's patinaed. And you just find little nooks to feed your wire into to get the ends out of the way. So just go back down into your work. Finding the end of that. And squishing it into your work so you can't feel it. Okay, that's perfect. So that's our first group of 3. So you just go around the whole piece. I'll do one more lot with you, and then I'll finish it off and show you the end result. Okay, so again, just choose whatever you want. And just space them out pleasingly to your eye. So, I mean, you could group them all up together if you wanted to. Totally up to you. What you do with it, it's your design. Pop that one in there. Just deciding whether I like that there or not. Yeah, I think I like it better there. You could use also 2 chip beads. I've used chip beads in these ones. With this one here, I didn't do them so much in groups like this. I threaded a few of the chip beads onto the wire and then just wrapped around, making sure that I kept the chip beads to the front, not to the back. So, and if you can see there, it sort of comes up and around. So you could also do something like that as well. You don't have to just use a single bead. Just remembering it's your design, you can do what you like. Use whatever you've got in your stash. Oh, this one I'm going to feed down in here. I so want to bring this up and put it closer to my face. Oops. Just making sure you wire them on nice and tight. I'm just hiding that tail in there so you can't feel it. I can't feel that anywhere. All right, so we'll go. I've done one of those. We'll do a carnelian. You don't have to use the same bead all the way through like I am. You can change them up, use different shapes, different colors. Just don't make the bead too big. 2 and 3 millimeter look the best. I know by experience. Finding a little hole to thread that through. And wire wrapping it on. You can go around this one if you want to. just poking your ends in wherever you can. Another rondelle. Find a space to put it in, somewhere where you think it would look nice. You can just pop it in like I did there to start with, have a look. If you don't like it there, move it somewhere else. You'll find a little hole somewhere where you can fit it in. I found the hole but in the wrong place. Okay, I've got that coming through the back there, but I don't know if I can grab it. There we go. Yeah, I like that there. Let's see if I can get around all three of these, which I probably won't. No, I'm not going to. It doesn't matter. Just wind it on where it is. It's nice and tied in there, so it's not going anywhere. This little bit I'll trim off. And squish that down into the work. You can manoeuvre it like I am, getting them to sit the way you want them to sit. Okay, so I'll come back when I've done the rest of it, and we'll finish off the bail, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, well, I've come up to the top here where I'm finishing off. I've got my little carnelian on, and I was going to use this ball head pin here, but it's a bit too small. It pops off the thing, so we're going to make a couple of knotted head pins. So I'm using 24 gauge wire, and just grabbing my cutters. I'm cutting roughly about that much, so I'm going to need 2 of those. I need one for my rondelle and one for my daisy spacer. Okay, so I'm going to grab my round nose pliers. This is for those of you who haven't seen a knotted head pin before. So just grabbing it on the end there. I'm just going to twist that around, or coil it around twice till it comes back to the start of the wire there. Take it off, and from the side that's got your ending on it, we're going to come in through there. Pull it along, grab your wire straighteners. Holding onto that wire just in front of the knot. Any pair of pliers to grab the other end, just like that, and we're just going to pull that through nice and tight, and that gives you a knotted head pin. So I'll just do that again, so I've got another one for the other end. So just coiling it around your pliers twice like that, coming in from the end, and pulling nice and tight. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was Dave coming up from down the back, and I knew he'd come straight through the door and just go, what do we want? What do we need? He's going up to the shop. Okay, so see the knotted head pin fits in nicely on that rondelle bead there. Okay, so we're just going to place that in wherever we think that it looks nice. Pop it in there. Now, I didn't mention before, but it matters which way you wrap this on. Now, if I come up this way, the bead, see how the bead falls, see how the bead falls forward there, like that. If you want it to look like that, that's fine. If you want it to sit up more straight, then come up through the other way. So just see which way your bead falls before you wrap it on. Just going to grab my cutters, cut that off. Find that end, poke it down. Okay, last one is the daisy spacer. And that fits nicely into the daisy spacer. Finding a place to pop it in. Sorry, I'm off camera there. Just try and find a little hole to fit it in. It'd help if I had a straight end on that. There we go. Now see, if I wrap that this way, it's going to pull it down on top of that one. You can leave it like that if you like, but if you want it to sit up, go the opposite way. I'm also going to try and feed this back through the work in a different way. Okay, I've got that there. I'm going to come through here. I'm going to wind that around my daisy spacer to make it firmer. This can be a little bit, it's not hard, it's just a little bit awkward to get it in underneath it. But you can do it. I know you can. I might even go twice on that, if it will let me. Okay. And then finding somewhere else to weave that through. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to cut that off. And poke the end in, if I can see it. There you go, got him. Okay, now all that's left is the bail. I want to straighten that wire up a little bit. And I've got my 6-step pliers here. Just seeing which one. Oh, I didn't get him very tight. I'll have to go back over that one. See how this is a little bit loose. I'll fix him up later. Okay, just deciding which one I want here. I'm just tilting that back a little bit to give it a bit of a neck. It's not very straight either. Bring that around. Might just have enough wire there. Should leave a little bit more wire there so I can wire wrap around it. But see how we go. Might just make it. Sorry, went off camera again. Might just make that around once. Sorry, I've got pliers here everywhere. And flat nose pliers. It's a bit awkward here. Should have left just a little bit more wire, but just going to try and make it around. There we go. Make sure he's squished down good. Straighten that up. Okay, still not very straight. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, that's better. All right. Now I'm just going to grab my bench block and my metal hammer. You can use your rubber hammer if you like. I think the metal hammer makes it look nicer on the sides, and I'm just going to it just gives it a nicer look on the side. A little bit more on that corner there. There we go. Could still use a bit more straightening. Okay. All right, well that's our, just maneuvering those around to positions I like them in. That's our pendant there for today. I just wanted to mention, if you wanted to, you could add a drop on the bottom here. I've added a drop on this one if you wanted to. So I've got a couple of different beads here that you could, that's a carnelian there. There's a smaller, darker carnelian, so you just play around with them until you find something that you like. I've also got a black spinel, which could look effective depending on how you wrap it. And I've also got a aventurine. I know it's not the same colour as that, but you don't have to have the same colour. You can just add in another colour as long as it goes with it. So if you're going to do that, then you'd need to make, either you could do it while, if you know that you're going to do that, make a loop here while you're wire wrapping around, or you could just find a place. I could pull this one down. I don't want to because I'm not going to add something to it. Yeah, so you could just pull that one down. All right, I'll do it anyway. Just as long as it's in the middle. and then you could wire wrap it onto there like that. Okay, so I'll go off and patina this and come back when I've done it and polished it up, and you can get a better look at it then. All right, see you all soon. Okay, I'm back with the finished piece now. This is what it looks like when it's all been patinaed and cleaned up and polished, and I decided to add the carnelian drop at the bottom anyway after all of that. And I also added a chain onto it. So I've put a jump ring here which I hammered to give it that beaten look, and then just added this chain. There's a tutorial for the chain. I'll leave a link down at the bottom if you haven't seen that particular chain there. So it's quite a long chain. I think it looks beautiful. And if you think it looks beautiful, then please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. It helps my analytics on my channel and the algorithm for YouTube to promote my videos so that more people get to see them. And if you'd like to see more and then you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you get notifications when I put out a new video. Okay, if you'd like to share as well, you can hit the share button and share my videos with your beady friends. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot for spending some time with me and learning how to do this pendant, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.